double handed.
It's okay. Just not.
You need to get him one of those ones that squeaks.
Like a referee.
Call this meeting to order. Casey, please take roll call.
Joel,
Here.
James,
Here.
Tony.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We have a joint emergency meeting that has been called. The action item in public hearing, action item 3A, consideration of possible approval, denial, postponement, or other action regarding an emergency joint resolution authorizing the town administrator to apply for a loan and appropriate funding to for the purpose of a fire truck. So, Mike, if you'll give us a overview of the current situation, what the resolution is, and what our options are for this.
Certainly. So, the Washington Volunteer Fire Department was awarded a grant by DEQ from the Air Quality Division for the purchase of a fire truck, and the grant award amount was $467,350. A vendor was identified by the fire department, Deep South Fire Trucks down in Mississippi, and an order was made for a specific fire truck in the amount of $472,350. So $5,000 more than what the grant amount covers. And about a month or so ago, Deep South began trying to get in touch with the fire chief, indicating, hey, this truck is ready. As we heard at the February 10th meeting from the report from Chief Brazell that everything was good. They had gone and done an inspection and everything should be fine. 2 days ago, I received phone calls from both Deep South and from a loan officer at First United with concerns over how the truck was going to be paid for. And they had, the loan officer indicated they had a couple of different EINs, which were not from the town. I was asked if the town was doing a loan, and I said, no, I don't know anything about that. And so I sent an email to all of the fire department leadership and to you all, basically reporting that, and saying, we're happy to help, but we're a little bit in the dark. I heard from Brandon Wansick, captain with the fire department. He said, I don't know a lot about this, but what can I do to assist? They scheduled a meeting for yesterday at 5 to talk about different issues. Meanwhile, in preparation for that meeting, I reached out to the bank, talked with them about what some options were, talked to the folks down at Deep South, found out that they need to get paid by Friday or they're going to release the truck to another bidder. And also found out that there actually was a contract that was signed in August obligating us to pay for this truck on inspection. They told me that, the original plan was they were supposed to get a check the day that the inspection was conducted, but that obviously did not occur. So I made arrangements I looked at our budget, saw what I think we can safely do to try and get this taken care of, so we can definitely utilize the grant and get the fire department, the apparatus that they need. And that's basically where we're at.
All right, so on the fire truck, one question I had that I haven't asked yet is on competitive bidding. Is there any competitive bidding requirements that we need to or should have done on the legal side for, award or payment?
So DEQ has issued a purchase order that is specifically specifically authorizing this truck. So I would imagine that from a state agency standpoint, that they're good to go, with this vendor, but I'm not entirely certain, about that.
Okay.
I have not, Tony Payne. Vacation, we back until Monday. I did speak with some representatives at DEQ in terms of when we should receive reimbursement from the time we make a reimbursement request. Once they approve it within the Division of Air Quality, we should have a check within about 45 days. So it shouldn't take that long, but I'm not sure if this Deep South Fire Trucks is on a state contract, or how that initially came to be.
Okay.
Also, noticed on that contract that was signed, it said, on the bottom, there could be penalties.
$300 a day. Yeah. So far, they've not mentioned anything about enforcing that provision. I think in terms of Deep South, they just want their money, that we signed that we were gonna provide.
Okay. And the inspection was done,
Yes, inspection was.
and then on the loan, so this loan is, called a bridge loan?
That's basically what it's gonna be. It's an interest-only loan. The terms that Jason with First United has extended to us is a 4.9% interest loan with a 1% fee. So if we pay it off within 45 days, we're gonna wind up paying around $3,000 for the loan. If it took us, longer than that, we're still not gonna pay as much as what I indicated to y'all, a little over $7,000 in interest. We're still not gonna pay that much with those terms.
So the total estimated cost for this truck from the town through the fire department is roughly $5,000 extra, the cost of the truck, and the interest, the about, say $7,000 of interest.
Yeah, like a worst case scenario, the cost is really gonna be that $5,000 that the grant doesn't cover, and then any interest and fee charges from the bank.
Okay, all right, so roughly 12, 15, worst case.
Correct.
That the town is going to have to pay out of our budget or out of our bank account.
Yeah, it's gonna have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. So that can be where that is allocated from can be a different discussion. But the purpose here is whether to authorize this sort of resolution to apply for the loan, that would secure this fire truck. The options I see in front of us are either one, we don't approve it, we release the truck and address the penalties if necessary, or if required. Is there a third option that we know of?
I don't see one. There's, according to grant paperwork that I reviewed, the grant timeline runs all the way through 27. In my discussion with Danny at Deep South, they probably could build another truck in 3 to 4 months. We didn't talk about, what those terms would be and so forth. But they probably could, get that accomplished, I would assume, at a similar price point, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Questions from you guys?
Yes. So is there a reason why there's no representation here?
From the fire department?
Because we're making decisions for them now.
It could be an availability issue. They're aware of this meeting. There was a meeting scheduled yesterday at 5 that they canceled.
He did say that he'd be present, but did you say that?
I did say he was not required to be here. But and they're also working with fire right now. I know that.
So,
Go ahead.
no, well, I have a question, on if you opted to wait for 3 to 4 months on another unit to be built, could it be arranged that the city's not out the funds at all? Waiting
So-
on payment for the,
When I talked with Rebecca Couch at the county, what she told me was that there was the possibility that the county could front all of the money for the truck, had that been explored.
just not quickly enough at this point?
No, they can't do it. They can't do it this way.
And what's Rebecca's role?
Rebecca Couch is the treasurer for McLean County.
Thank you.
So this is just the background of, we're trying to put all this together. So the current truck that we have, right, that's county's truck. That is loaned to us by the county, right? Washington doesn't own it.
I think it was given, if that's.
I'm not sure where the title is held.
Well, that's, what happens to that truck?
It has to be decommissioned.
By who?
So,
So the purpose of it, this grant, is this truck, the emissions
I get it.
exceeds the level of what DQ
They
would
want the
buy.
footprint where the money came through the lawsuit, I understand all that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, right now, we don't know who owns the truck. The current one.
I mean, we don't, yeah,
You sure?
I don't.
So in my view, unless even if that current truck was purchased with county tax revenue, it still belongs to the Washington Volunteer Fire Department, which is an entity of the town. So it should be the town's. There's this, I know it's been talked about a lot, but there's not this disassociation between the things that are purchased with county tax money and things that are purchased with money from our coffers. The Washington Volunteer Fire Department is a Title 11 department.
Right.
It exists but for being authorized through our ordinances. Now, they have an assigned fire district that goes
Right.
well beyond the town limits. And
But that's based off of who? County.
the county assigns that fire district, that's correct. But that doesn't change how the entity itself exists and to whom that entity is responsible for. But the commissioners are obviously over the allocation of that money. But unless through titling, the county maybe fronted some additional money or something like that, it would still belong to the Washington Volunteer.
I'd love to see that. Right?
Yeah.
That's fairly important to know
The title.
definitively, right? Where that comes from, because if it is, and it is purchased through the county, however, given to the town of Washington, right?
Mhm.
For all purposes going, hey, this is yours,
Mhm.
please maintain it well.
Mhm.
Right? Use people's money
Mhm.
smartly.
Sure.
But if we don't know that, or where is that paperwork, obviously it is, I don't know if it's titled in that name,
Mhm.
under the town of Washington or under the Washington, Volunteer Fire Department.
Mhm.
I don't know that.
Right.
So you're saying when you put it out of commission, will that legally stand, that belong to us, and we put it out of
Yeah, the
commission?
authority to do so.
Right.
Yeah. And two, who pays for that?
The decommissioning?
Mhm. It ain't free.
Right.
I haven't seen the DQ grant award, if that's included.
And then
in
once
this.
it's decommissioned, what do you do with the shell? Because all you gotta do is to decommission is, just drill some holes in the block.
Right.
So what do you do with everything else?
Yeah, I've heard some conversation that equipment from that truck can be repurposed and used. It just has to be, the truck cannot be drivable. But in terms of where, funding is gonna come from for disposal and things like that, I don't know. The Washington Volunteer Fire Department through county tax money has, over $200,000 available in maintenance and operations, over $100,000 available in capital outlay. And they have some money in their accounts that are housed at First United. So there is money available to be used, but in terms of decisions as to exactly where that's going to be coming from, those aren't made.
I don't think that's gonna be as expensive as thought. I think they just gotta prove, let's just say the engine's pulled out of it and it's not drivable anymore. I don't know what that process is proving it's not drivable, but it should be pretty simple.
Are there some specific?
I would think that, yeah,
Yeah.
I would think that, for the grant, again, I have no idea, that's why I'm asking these questions. That in that grant process, there were steps that says, you will do this at this point in time.
Sure, or you won't receive a grant.
Or right, or you will be, you'll have to pay back.
Right. Yeah, there's specifically a scrappage form, that DEQ has for it to be, completed. It's got, information on the vehicle. It has, information of who the dismantler is and a few, required photos. And that's what it looks like they require.
Doesn't show ownership there.
It does.
Different ownership.
It does not. But I guess ultimately to address probably your main concern, Tony, in talking with Wilson, the county is very interested in these awarded grant dollars being able to be used.
Sure.
And they're very interested in being able to get a new truck. So if the title is held by McLean County or the title is held by us, it appears that there's support to move forward with the project.
Okay. Where my question is what happens if for some reason, DEQ or whatever defaults on the grant, or just states that, hey, it's gonna take longer, and we're already invested, $265,000.
Is there an obligation for?
I would say that's pretty unlikely. There's a signed purchase order from DEQ and a signed memorandum of agreement from DEQ that everything is good to go on in terms of the award. So I think that's extremely unlikely. Different, for example, than the situation we're in with the cybersecurity grant,
Right.
where we were awarded money
But we're
by the awarding entity, but then that money's been held up federally. That's not the case here.
Yeah, I would like to know more about how we got to where we are. Applied for a grant without the town, approving it through resolution. Was there any requirement for resolution? I know you haven't probably got deep into the.
I've not seen that, none of the documentation that I've gotten in the last little bit included a resolution,
Okay.
An authorizing resolution. It was applied for back early in 2025 by previous fire chief.
I believe Kara and maybe Dwayne was involved in applying for this grant.
Okay.
And I thought you knew about it, and
I
not
knew
you, I thought Joe knew about it.
Yeah.
His name came up, but I was just under the application,
I knew that there was a grant being applied for. I knew that they were awarded. The details under that, I did not. And again, at that time, it was very much the fire department. The perception was that the fire department is its own entity.
Sure.
As we get deeper and educating myself, and with the financial audit that's coming around, and the advice and input that they're receiving, it is very much a Title 11 town.
So if we knew that was going on all along, and then the vote we did to incorporate it, whatever the term would be, they're saying we need a resolution that we didn't go through.
Typically when you apply for grants, like you all have seen before, I'll write up an authorizing resolution that says, and the reason for that is because lots of times when grants are applied for, like if there's a match, for example, you're putting your stamp of approval that if we are awarded X amount of money, that we can also produce Y amount of money. In this case, I think maybe the assumption, and maybe some original conversations were that steps were gonna be taken to get, the county to front up some money. I'm not sure why that didn't happen. It appears obvious that, there were some other avenues explored about trying to get a loan through a 501c3. All of that apparently fell through and didn't work.
And so the bank is telling you that they will only do a loan through the town of Washington?
They're not saying that they would only do a loan through the town of Washington, but it's my understanding the fire department had a meeting last Monday, and there were terms presented to the members there, which was supposed to be, I guess, a 1% loan. I wasn't there. This is all secondhand information. They approved that. And then when I talked to Jason, he said, no, the terms are a 7% loan. And I've had two members of the department tell me that that is not what they voted to approve. So I'm not sure about how that communication process goes internally with that department. But the mechanisms to secure the funding to pay for this that the fire department has explored have not come to fruition.
Do we know the current, I know I'm harping on this, but I don't care. The current truck that we have, did we get that? Do we know what year it is? How old
I
it is?
believe it's a 96.
Do we know, did we get that in 1996? Or did we get, was it new when it was, however it got to the town of Washington?
I don't know the answer to that.
And we don't have a report on inventory, fire department inventory?
We have we have an inventory, like we've got insurance on all the vehicles and all of that, but that's just an inventory.
Okay.
In terms of the origination stuff, I have that information.
So our purpose here is we decided to do the city funds the loan, 200 and whatever thousand, to make this happen with this fire truck within the next week. Or we defer and wait 3, 4, 5 months to have another one built, possibly can get the funds through the county, and you're not out any money, but you're waiting the 3, 4 months to have another one built. Is that what this is really all about?
I think that's the immediate thing. I think there's a lot of things underlying
Sure,
that,
sure.
but yeah, that's the immediate issue. Exactly.
Or we wouldn't be emergency.
For the full price of the truck, does that come kitted in any way?
It's set up. I think
100%?
I think they actually got to choose how it was done and what was done and ready to go. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I understood it.
I'm not
I
even
don't
into that.
I don't
Okay.
know, certainly, I don't know.
They spec'd it out, whatever that means. I did hear that. As far as custom spec'd out what they wanted and how they wanted.
Or they cannibalize stuff off the existing truck.
Even when you do that, are they compatible? A 96 to a 2026?
I don't know, Tom,
So we deferred until we figured this stuff out.
The truck that's being replaced is a 1996 truck.
It's a 96 truck.
Mhm.
And I get it, because of the grant, they want, through the air quality division, they want something that's, more environmentally friendly and all that. I get all that, but where I'm stuck is, who owns it, who's responsible for what, when this turns in, and next thing you know, who's gonna be paying for all this?
Well, the city will until they get their money back. Or,
And that's,
that's about the money.
and, you're reassuring that, the confidence is high that we will. But what if we don't?
we're out 300.
No.
Well, we're not out because we're invested for $265,000, so guess what, we're gonna be all in for the rest.
Right.
It's one way or another, we're gonna be responsible for a loan that should be going to water.
If you wait 4 months, then you minimize your risk with the county involved.
right?
My initial gut is I want to help the fire department out, but I don't know enough about this, to identify what the alternatives are. We have a solution in front of us that gets this job done. Is the likelihood good? Probably. A worst case scenario, if all this falls out, we're on the hook for $472,000, for a truck.
The grant has been awarded, correct?
Yeah,
Yes, it's
No.
approved.
not only has the grant been awarded, but
Purchase order.
DEQ has issued a signed purchase order. There's a signed and executed, memorandum of agreement. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm very confident that the money is there, for us to receive reimbursement. So I wouldn't personally be concerned about that.
Cause, and conversely on that, you know, with Deep South, I don't wanna burn any bridges with them, cause it sounds like they've been very accommodating, with Washington, the town of Washington. And I don't wanna put them in a pickle either going, you know, what the heck?
Sure.
Right? And then go, well, we'll take your next one. And we're like, yeah, we'll see. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would be reasonable, if the town placed another order to require some sort of deposit in the
To start
situation
work,
that we're in.
reserve your spot,
Between time.
pay
That's right, $260.
a milestone payments.
Could be.
So, I have, like I said, any further discussion? I think there's a lot of follow-up that needs to happen.
But the thing is, we don't have.
We don't have the time.
Correct.
It's tomorrow. This has to be done
A
tomorrow.
root cause, in my mind, I'm thinking a root cause analysis on how we got here. How do we avoid a
We will
situation
get there tomorrow.
like this from happening again?
Could be another meeting. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying today or tomorrow, that whatever action happens out of this, what there needs to also still be is some follow-up and review to see if there's, what gaps occurred that need to be corrected, either through training, through education, through stop gaps, whole points. So,
Have you had any feeling or of concern from the county, whether it be the county commissioner or in charge of their, finance department or anything about this? Have they stated anything to you about a concern of how this is going at all, or?
When I talked to officials with the county yesterday, there was some concern expressed about why certain avenues had not been explored. There was concern expressed about sort of the last minute nature of this. So yes, there were some concerns expressed like that. There was also good faith expressed in the solution that we brought forward to resolve it now. But yes, there's ample room for improvement.
the funding or the funds that the county has issued to the Washington Volunteer Fire Department in capital outlay and, I guess the operations fund, are those dollars eligible to be used on payment of this loan interest and, the $5,000 extra?
So The quick answer is yes, that money could be used as a payment direct to Deep South. It can be used as a payment to us, for example, but it could be used as a direct payment to a vendor. And so Rebecca confirmed that, yes, if they receive a requisition request, that would be on Monday's agenda for the commissioners, and they could probably get that check cut within about a week for the 5,000.
Okay.
In terms of the interest, that would not be an allowable expense of the county tax money. Rebecca checked that with the district attorney, and they're not comfortable with that.
So somebody's gonna have to eat it.
So the general fund, Public Works would have to pay for that money.
No, the Washington Volunteer Fire Department has an account with First United that has a little over $30,000 in it. That money could come from that account.
Okay, so those are discussions we can have, but it's not necessarily only on the Public Works, fund or the general fund that money would have to come from. So we have three funding sources technically that could potentially be used to fund what the county doesn't, right?
Yes.
So that fund that they have their general funds in, is that considered a 501c3 or whatever? Is that part of that?
No, it's part of the town's account.
Okay, so that's different. So the interest payment wouldn't be over a debt issue, that you can't have with the nonprofit, I guess. But okay. Is there any way to get some of these questions he had answered and reconvene this tomorrow to approve it? About the ownership and the decommission, and any of those things, or is it worth doing, or do you feel like it should be?
Pretty quick turnaround, I would think, for the bank to.
Not in the bank, I mean, who owns the truck?
I mean,
And decommissioning price and how that's been set up or determined to be done. Because you won't get your grant money until you've proven that's been decommissioned, is that correct? Form?
I'm not necessarily sure that that's the case. That's just a component of the grant. Now, they could come after you if you don't do it.
Right, okay.
I think in terms of submitting a reimbursement request,
Not needed.
I don't think that is required. Provide photos within 60 days, only 14 days, submit reimbursement. Let's see, buy new vehicle. Okay, this is the process that's in the grant. Buy the new vehicle, after receiving notice to proceed, which we have. Within 60 days after vehicle delivery, provide photos of the new vehicle, engine, and copy of invoice. Within 60 days after vehicle delivery, scrap the old vehicle. Within 14 days after scrappage, provide completed scrappage form and photo documentation, and then submit reimbursement paperwork. So it is required to do that first.
So how's the time
And
on
that's,
that?
I don't know.
Right, so
I mean,
maybe 180 days or whatever.
is there a definition on what scrap is or what that?
Yeah, right, what does scrap mean?
It's-
Because what I take that as is complete.
Discount.
So the engine block, there has to be a photo that shows the side of the vehicle ID number, the chassis rail cut in half, the engine serial number, and the engine block showing a hole cut in it.
Undertaken.
So that's what's required.
So it would need to be completely, anything that's savable or recommissionable would have to be completely taken off that truck, cut the frame in half, and then send pictures in.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you leave it on there, and you take pictures and send it in, they're gonna expect that stuff's part of the scrap. So if there's anything they wanna save or reuse, all that needs to be taken off and done within that 60 days. And do we know if that's doable, or if they're gonna do it themselves?
Yeah, just golly.
Or what-
Here's the case.
Or what?
What happens if,
They might do it themselves.
would Washington theoretically, could they be out of a truck for a while for calls? If it's not 100% fit and ready to go?
Turnaround.
That's another question can be answered with a call.
It is my understanding that the truck is pretty much ready to go. based upon what I have heard about the inspection.
I agree. That sounds like, I heard that it was spec'd out and ready to go. That's all.
Could you call,
Deep
Red Deep South and ask them?
Sure.
You wanna step away and come back, or?
There's 2 or 3 questions there that can be answered. And it needed to be.
You know, who's authorized to scrap a fire truck? I mean, can anybody do it? I don't know.
I think the county probably authorized that most likely, but
But that goes down to, you know, back to that question, if we don't, no kidding,
if you don't meet that 60 days with all
or
that
if
requirements,
the town doesn't own the truck, does it go back to the county and the county handles it?
then they have to give it to you.
Or are we responsible for all of that? You know, I don't understand. I've heard, you know, multiple stories that there are certain vehicles that the town of Washington, no kidding, purchased and owns,
Yeah.
and then there's other ones that we don't.
How do you apply for a grant such as that if you don't have the VIN number and the vehicle that you're going to scrap before they grant you that? You would think they would require. what
They
vehicle
would
you
have
scrap, right?
to, had to purchase or, don't use this truck as it, right?
They would have, you would think, before they give you money, they want to know what vehicle you're scrapping.
Okay.
You would think that stuff would be right and check to see who owns it, and is it in Washington's name or the fire department's name, or is it in the county, because then it depends on them.
And that gets looked at.
Might be stuff,
The truck, needs to have water added to it and it is ready to go to a fire.
Okay.
That's
So
very
you gotta
good.
fill that.
Yeah. According to him, when they were there for the inspection, they played with it, used it, I believe did some training, so it is ready to go.
Okay, that's good.
So, all right. So that handles that, whether the ownership of the truck is in question.
Now, will this one be titled to the town of Washington?
It should be, because that's who the, grant was awarded, that's certainly where all the money is going to be coming from if you, authorize the action with the exception of $5,000, so it certainly should be.
Because the reason why, and then this goes into bigger things is, you know, asset management, right?
Mhm.
When it comes into what the town, no kid knows, like, could we use the current fire truck under that? I mean, you know, again, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Just because it's parked there doesn't mean that we have all full land rights. I mean, the county may have a say as well, right? Or maybe have responsibilities in regards to that. So I just want to make sure we're not, you know, getting over our skis on things that we should or should not.
So the county tax money is designed to support rural fire departments in McLean County,
Mhm.
right? But, McLean County doesn't have a fire department.
Right. But the thing is, they could still purchase the truck, right?
They could, that would be strange.
So are you saying that they transferred the funds to Washington and then Washington purchased that vehicle?
Probably.
The funds go to a dedicated account that the fire department issues a PO to the McLean County Treasurer requisition to McLean County. They pay that money directly to the supplier.
That's my point exactly. That Washington never comes through us. We don't touch anything. It comes through a purchase order request of the funding agency, which is the county.
I mean, the same question could be asked, you know, let's take the example of Purcell and Newcastle, the 2 largest fire districts and municipalities in the area. They receive the same amount of funding, to my knowledge, that the Washington, you know, all of the departments, they all get the same cut of the pie.
Right.
That $100,000 means a lot more to the town of Washington than it does Newcastle, Purcell. So, I don't know where I was really going with this, but they're under the same issues, right? They're serving their municipality, which is probably, if not all, if not a majority of their fire district area. I guess it doesn't answer your question on who actually owns
Mm-hmm.
the material or owns the product.
Right.
Asset management.
Indeed.
If
Has Goldie not went through this same process and I think received a fire truck, I believe? I don't know for sure. I won't get into that, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway.
Okay. So by accept, go ahead.
Yeah, so we know we can, right now, we are able to proceed with the purchase of the truck under the terms that you stated earlier.
100%.
The risk of the funding not coming through is, in your opinion, extremely low to almost none. The turnaround time of the expectation of 45 days could go to 60 depending on.
The 45-day turnaround time is once DEQ receives the reimbursement request and they process it, 45 days to get that check cut. Now, our folks are going to have to do what this scrappage form is saying.
Yeah.
Which I believe, I mean, I had a lot of conversations yesterday, but I believe I was told that can be handled in a work day, with the fire department. I mean, that stuff there is not insignificant, but it's also not super complicated. It has an outline there, what you need to do. You just need some pretty basic power tools and you get it done.
Yeah. Well, and like he said, they'll have to, take off any equipment that we want to salvage off of this.
Or take pictures.
Yep.
But they presented to you, it sounded like they're going to take care of that themselves through the fire department. The fire department, yeah.
I believe that is I have not heard that directly from the fire chief, but I believe that is.
That's the plan. It should be a 1 or 2 day project. To take care of.
That is my understanding.
That's it, okay.
Yeah.
On the 2 EIN numbers, do we know what those organizations are that were applied that aren't recognized?
I do not know. I was told the EIN numbers, but they are not EIN numbers that I'm familiar with.
Any other questions, Tim?
No.
James, anything special to you?
No,
All right, so we'll go forward with motion. Would anybody like to make a motion? All right, I'm gonna give us a minute to gather our thoughts and then I'll move forward with the motion. So we'll start a little timer for myself. I read through the resolution one more time, make sure we're dotting our i's, crossing our t's.
So when is that, requisition for the $5,000 gonna happen? I'm assuming if we approve this, it should happen almost right away because.
There is the opportunity for that to be on the agenda on Monday's commissioner's agenda. So if you all approve it, then I will certainly make notification that.
Well, because the truck won't be delivered without it. Or is that something
Well,
that we would cover? as well?
It could be. So that's one of the reasons why you notice the amount that I'm requesting that you authorize is more than what I outlined specifically in the plan, just in case, if this is the direction you want to proceed, something happens with the bank or whatever, and we need to do more money. One of the conversations that I had with Danny was about that $5,000. If we need to front them the additional $5,000 and then they write us a check back.
Who's they?
Deep South.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
if he's saying that, well, we're not gonna release the truck until we have every single amount of money, then I'm gonna write him a $5,000 check.
Okay, and then this would go through, get paid, and they just sell
As
us.
an overpayment.
Yes,
So to recap on this, the grant is for $467,000, or $467,350. The purchase of the truck is $472,350. The town of Washington resolution is to authorize the town administrator to make a payment of $300,000. So just to help clarify, where's the difference between the three and $472,000?
okay, so it's a payment up to 300,000.
Okay.
It is my intention, if everything goes smoothly, to make a payment of $265,000. That is my intention. But things happen at the last minute, and so that might not be. I might need to make a payment of $270,000 if they want the 5 before USPS is gonna deliver the county's check. Okay? But that is my intention. It's, Jason, when I talked to him this morning, he was very confident that everything was gonna come through, but they're underwriters and so forth, something might change. So that's the wiggle room that I asked for.
I guess I'm not seeing the purchase of the truck. The truck price is $472,000. We're paying them $300,000. Where's the $170,000?
Payment up to $300,000. So let's suppose that when the bank documents come over, for whatever reason, instead of authorizing $207,350, which is what we need, they authorize $190,000. If you all only authorize me to pay $265,000, then this is all moot.
Okay, so the bank is gonna cover that difference.
Correct. They would cover that difference if that difference is needed. I don't think it's gonna be. I think all we're gonna have to pay is the $265,000.
Has I'm not seeing the delta here. So, right, I'm seeing 300 and 400. Has a certain amount been paid that we only owe today? Like, where's the 172,000?
The bank.
The bank is paying that, okay.
Correct.
And then we're gonna say the 300, let's just say up to 300,000 to cover the difference between what the bank is loaning
Yes,
and what the town is awarding for the total 472.
yes.
Is there a reason that's not noted in this?
Well,
Alone?
two sentences here. So you're authorizing me to make a payment of our cash on hand.
Right.
You're also authorizing me to apply for and execute all necessary documents to secure a loan for the remaining purchase price of the fire truck.
Okay,
Gotcha.
thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so 300,000, the plan is to take that out of the Public Works fund and the general fund to cover the 300,000. The bank will then cover the remaining balance of $172-ish thousand for that. Then the grant will pay back the total amount,
Correct.
correct? Paying off the loan, paying back the town.
Will that grant come to the general fund of the town
Yes.
and then be dispersed back to the funds?
The full fund?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we can do that.
And then, fire chief will submit to the county requisition for 5,000. Then to Deep South, 5,000, will be paid from the county directly to, Deep South.
Correct.
Alternative option, if the town has to make that payment, ahead of time, Deep South has communicated they would provide a reimbursement check back to town for that 5,000.
Yes.
Okay. So, for everyone's clarification, since I don't know if there's one watching, the town potentially has at risk 300,000 in this. That 300,000 is coming out of Public Works and from the general fund to be paid to Deep South Fire. and then within potentially 45 days, maybe 60, that money will then be reimbursed from DEQ grant back to the town and returned back to the funds that they were essentially borrowed from. Correct?
Yes.
Can we deem a minimum turn time, once the truck is delivered and on site, expectations of the decommissioning of the current truck?
You could certainly provide that direction.
Sorry, what was that again?
Set a timeline of expectation on the decommissioning of the current truck.
I mean, there's already one set from DEQ from the grant, it's gotta happen
60
within
days.
60 days.
Well, I'm just trying to mitigate the
Yeah,
the amount of interest that we're paying.
30 days should be plenty.
Kind of what I was thinking.
I do too.
Is there any reason why this 300,000 is not coming out of the 200,000 maintenance and 100,000 capital outlay from the fire department?
Timing,
Okay,
it can't happen quick enough.
If it's county,
okay, because that all has to come to the county. Okay, and it has to go to the commissioners to approve that funding to
and
be
then we'll release
released.
the fire truck, we're back to 4 months.
Okay,
But with the 4 months, you're not at any risk, but the risk is very minimal.
Yes,
That's your assumption.
This is something that's been in the works for a while, and a target of opportunity that I hate to pass on. If we can do something about it to help, knowing that monetarily the risk, sits at us long run coming out at maybe $4,000 or $5,000 in interest that the town's going to get paid back from the fire department.
yes,
So, I mean, with everything, I don't think this has gone very smoothly. I hate that we have to do this. I think this is a sloppy way of operating. That being said, hesitantly, I would approve this resolution as written, that the town of Washington supply funds to Deep South to move forward with the purchase of the truck that's ready. And then with getting reimbursed as quickly and as efficiently as possible in regards to what has been written on the grant, in regards to the expectations there to get funding.
yes. So the motion on the table is a motion to approve as written. The additional ask is that a timeline be communicated to, or committed by the fire department to ensure that this is all complete within the 45-day timeline. Correct, and that a timeline is provided to the town administrator.
That'd be great. The sooner the better, because, as anybody knows, interest doesn't stop, and it just ticks, and,
Yep.
and as we are aware, everybody's busy, right? So, and I understand that everybody has jobs and families, and, they're doing this on their own time, I get it. But when we're spending taxpayers' money, we've got to be smart and diligent how we do such.
So Monday, a plan is submitted to the town administrator on a timeline on meeting these requirements.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, just for Casey and for clarity, I believe that it was Tony's intent to make a motion to
Yes.
approve the resolution as written. And you all had discussed earlier a 30-day timeline for decommissioning. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So to approve as the resolution as written, and to
After delivery.
request a 30-day timeline on the scrapping process and submitting reimbursement.
Yes.
Okay. And who's seconding that?
I'll second it.
Who's delivering the vehicle?
The way that I just heard it from them, it's on a truck, so I think Deep South is,
That's what I understood it too.
I think, I'm not sure, but
I think it's figured into that small number.
They make me sick. I hate doing this.
Ready for a vote?
Can I just have one
Yes.
more clarification? The motion is to approve the resolution as written and request a 30-day timeline on decommissioning of the truck, or requesting that within 30 days that the truck is decommissioned.
It has to be after delivery. What,
30 days after delivery.
30 days after delivery.
Decommission.
After delivery of the new truck. You don't want to decommission it, waiting on the truck.
Then you don't have a truck and trailer.
Okay.
Is your question?
Yes, thank you. I am ready for voting. You, gentlemen.
Weir?
Joel,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carries.
Thank you. All right. There are no other agenda items. This meeting is adjourned.
I apologize for all the questions and,
They still need to be answered,
yeah. It's just-
right?